All right, welcome to the tutorial for Already Aphrodite from Peachbit. Something to take note of, capo, 2nd fret, standard tuning. So for this first part, what we are going to do, we're gonna put our middle finger on that D string. Well, we can do either our middle finger or our ring finger. Whatever finger for you is gonna best help accomplish the nuance in this technique. So middle finger, 1st fret, D string. We're coming down on kind of this palm mute scratch. So that we can start with an up strum. Now here's where the magic happens. We have the 1st fret of the D string able to ring out, but we're also holding it down in a way that mutes the surrounding strings, the A string and the G string. You can hear it a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be overpowered by the strings that are actually ringing out fully. Now we're coming in on that scratch mute so that we can start with an up strum, and we're going to do 4 strums. Now on the last down strum, we're going to slide our middle finger up 1 fret. And in the recording when he does that, I hear mostly the 2nd fret ringing out and not so much the B string at that point. So it's not a big deal if this B string dies out. Now our next trajectory is we're going to replace fingers. We're going to stay on the 2nd fret, but go down a string with our index. Boom. You see that? That's a good practice to do. If it feels weird, replacing your middle finger with your index and going down a string, that's a good little exercise to do yourself. Now the reason why we're using our index finger is it's going to line out these next set of notes conveniently with available fingers. So we're starting on the 2nd fret, going up 2 frets to the 4th fret, and pinky up 1 fret, and then we're going down a string and our ring finger is nicely placed to get the fret behind. And then we're going back to that pinky note. We're playing it twice before going back down a fret with our ring finger. Now, our next trajectory, this is really important. We're going to be going diagonal, up and over a fret, but we're going to be switching out for a middle finger. Super important. If we are on this note, then we're going to be on that note. Again, another good exercise if this feels like a weird move to you. Okay, now we're towards the end of the line in this tablature. Now we're starting with our middle finger, and we got this little shape with our middle and our index. Right? That little lick is going to look like this. Now that little line right there is a slur, which means we're wanting to keep our notes very connected. How that translates to the guitar is we're going to be making use of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Then we're going to go back a fret with our index and slide down 2 frets. Now it's super important that we do end up on that index finger, because the next shape that we're gonna do, we're gonna have all the fingers available to make it if we were using our index finger here. And it's this little chunk of a C over G shape. Watch how as soon as I get to the 2nd fret, I have this muscle memory ability to make that little chunk of a C over G shape. Then we're gonna add our index finger to the B string, 1st fret. Ooh yeah, just in the nick of time. So by the time we get to that C over G part, you can just watch how I strum this. And then this G section is going to start on an up strum. Watch. Watch going from the C over G into the G. I'm going to play this whole line for you, starting from that slide in. So right while we're doing that scratch mute with our right hand, that is availing our left hand time to make that B7 chord. Watch how this hand is shaping it during the scratch mute. Boom. We're going to need that because with the very next up strum, we're going to be hitting our strings. I'm just going to play that whole line for you. Now this next line is more or less straightforward. I've already done these notes in the beginning. And now we're just sliding up 3 frets after that and then down 2 frets. Now this next part, I'm just replacing on the G and B string a little partial bar with my index pad on that 5th fret. Now something to think about, when we get down to that 4 with our index, we can ease the pressure up a little bit so our B string isn't ringing out anymore. Otherwise, if I just keep the same amount of pressure the whole time, sounds like that. Now after we get down to the 4th fret, we're going to slide up to the 9th fret and then down into nothing super specific. But the point of sliding down is we're again making that little chunk of the C over G chord. You see how these guys formed while I was sliding? I'll do it again. Right? So that will allow me to do that quick down strum. And then really this last line is going to be the exact same line we did before, except that B7 chord is going to be cut short. It's I'm out of strums. There you go.